So my purpose in being here, my purpose in communicating and in writing this book and in sharing what I know today is all about raising consciousness. I feel that this is a time when there's a lot of people who are really fast asleep, don't know what's going on, who are watching TV and seeing ads for pharmaceuticals and garbage food and going to the grocery store and going to their doctors and saying, I need this and I want that, and they're buying into what they're being sold. And then there are people, hopefully like you folks, who are waking up to realize that the answers aren't in the conventional paradigm that we're being offered, that we're being sold, and that we can be empowered to awaken to a higher level of awareness and consciousness. So that's my prime directive here, is to raise my consciousness of myself and to hopefully inspire that in others, and to be a seeker. I'm a seeker. I want to seek out the truth because there's so much chaff. I want to sort the wheat from the chaff. So I really focus on trying to listen to all opinions and then to make the best decision that I can about what I choose to incorporate into my own consciousness. So I'm looking really in a lot of ways at the big picture. And what I'm seeing in this world, in our country in particular, in the Western world, is an epidemic of chronic degenerative disease. We are suffering like never before from all of the big ones: the cancer, the heart disease, the diabetes, the arthritis, the lung issues, and on down the line. There's allergies, and food allergies, and environmental allergies. Digestive issues are huge, and this is just an explosion. And I'm like, what is going on? I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to understand the root causes of illness. And I feel that what we have here is a modern medical paradigm of allopathic medicine that is doing nothing to get to the underlying root cause of chronic degenerative disease. They're putting Band-Aids with drugs and surgery and radiation to assuage the symptoms, to stuff those symptoms down, to mask the symptoms, just to treat the symptoms without getting to the real reasons those symptoms are arising in the first place. So that's one of my big goals, is to really look at the underlying issues of why all this chronic degenerative illness is occurring today in our world. So I'm going to kind of lay out those issues, and I've written them here so you can kind of follow along as we go through them. So I love these shapes because they're symbolic, and also because they're very harmonic. They're very balanced, and that to me is really symbolic of the underlying reason why we are well when we're well. And I've written it over there. It's homeostasis, or internal balance. When that homeostasis within us is disrupted, that's when things start to get stagnated and congested. Energy gets blocked and can't move. The blood gets stagnated. It doesn't bring the nourishment and take away the wastes. And this is what's going on in our bodies when we start to succumb to chronic degenerative disease. It, to me, is the underlying root cause of all chronic degenerative illness, is this disruption of our internal balance, our internal homeostasis. And I made all of these little shapes by hand with paper. And this is called a star tetrahedron. It's also known as a Merkaba. And as you can see, it's two of these tetrahedrons right here, if you look carefully. One's dark and one's light, and they're interconnected. And this to me represents the balance of all things in nature. But nature's always seeking balance. Our bodies are always trying to restore that internal homeostasis. And so I just hold this up as a symbol of balance and harmony and synergy, and what our bodies are always striving for in order to maintain good health and regain health if we fall ill. Another reason I think it's very stressful to live in the world today is because we've become disconnected from nature. I think this is a big deal. And again, I address this in my book about the disconnection from nature and our lack of sort of communication with the elements, with the trees and with the wind and the sky and the stars and the sun and the moon and the seasons, and just touching the earth. And that brings me to a disconnectedness from the ground and a lack of grounding. And I think this is a really big thing, is that we live on concrete floors, we walk around in shoes, we often just don't touch the earth. We're not touching the earth. And there's so much of this EMF going on that it builds up a charge inside of us, and it can make us feel like really stressed out, because the electromagnetic frequencies are interfacing with our biology and our physiology and our neurology, and it's not natural. And it can give us this sense of like things are really freaky, and they're just seeming overwhelming because we're not able to offload that by touching the earth. So just to finish up here, healthy stress response and ways to reduce stress. I just have a few things here that I'll talk about. And number one really on that list is grounding. If there's a way that you can put your toes on the earth, if you can garden, if you can touch the soil, if you can go for a walk in nature, if you can hug a tree, if you can in any way touch the earth, touch the planet, touch the mother, get in touch with her, whether it's physically or even energetically or through your eyes or through your ears or just to spend time in nature. This is a really powerful thing.